Next, we want to make the remove button work. We just made another button work. We're pros at making buttons work. Who did this? All right. You're only allowed to answer questions if everybody stands silent and looks really pitiful for a long time. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do, because I have no idea where to start, is just write a method that will remove things. Maybe it picks them at random. I don't know. Let's just make something that will remove a thing. Which component is that going to have to be in? The only component that is allowed to mess with our things, which is app. Yep. So we add thing, we save thing, we remove thing. App giveth, app taketh away. So once again, I think this will be easiest if we just pass the thing in. I'm going to go ahead and make this a property initializer. And once again, we are being asked to change things. So we make a copy of what's in state. At the end, we're going to update state with our changes. What do we do in between? So what we're doing is removing a property from an object, right? What's the property? What's the key of that property? Thing.id. Agreed? So we need to just plain remove that property from the object. Who knows how to do that? Who knows how to remove a property from an object? Yeah, Clayton Lewis. Delete. Delete things, square bracket, thing.id. Not too tough. So now how do we make that happen when a button is pressed? Well, what component is that button in? We are talking now about this button, the delete button. Which component's it in? Thing. So that's where we need to call remove thing, right? How do we get it there? We get it there using Pinky Hat. Props, gosh darn right. So we could say remove thing equals this dot remove thing. I want to do it a different way, mostly to show you that it could be done a different way. Check this crap out. What if we make an object here inside our render method? We'll call it actions. And it's going to store all of the actions that we can perform to a thing that we may need to use in our thing component. So it's going to be an object with a key of save thing. And we're going to set that property to this dot save thing. Another one called remove thing, which is this dot remove thing. Now, if I want to pass those as props, we're going to use this little trick. The anticipation killing you? Just like that. Ha-ha! We're going to spread out the things in this object so that they are now arguments to a method, essentially. In JSX, that means props. So that is just like we took all of the individual items in this object and made them props. And it even works. Let's prove it. Even though there's nothing in the thing list, we do have the thing list component. Let's look at thing list component. Props, remove thing, save thing, they're there. Yeah. Tricky business. That gets pretty handy once these things get a little out of control. Sometimes you might have more than one component that needs to inherit this stuff. And if you do need to change the list of actions that can be performed, it's a lot easier to find here than it is to look through JSX, in my opinion. I think JSX is kind of ugly to look at. So let's change it as little as possible. So down in thing list land, we need to get it down to thing too, don't we? So how can we do this? How about we just pass all of the props that thing list received down to thing? So instead of passing save thing explicitly and remove thing explicitly, we just say props. Use the same trick. Just spread those out into separate props. Do it work? Let's look for a thing component. Here's one. Props. Yeah, it has remove thing and save thing. And thing and things. Thing we actually passed in. All the others came from the props that were passed into thing list. Pretty nice. So now we've got remove thing down in, whoops. No, I don't want to print. Who wants to print? This is 2017. Thing.js. So now I have remove thing available here, right? Where do I want to call it? And the remove button. This rascal. So let's add an on click here. On click, don't forget camel case. And once again, we're passing the thing in as an argument as opposed to an event. So let's just put a little arrow function here. And all it's going to do is call remove thing. Why could I call it just remove thing and not this remove thing? This isn't a class. And anyway, that's a prop. But I don't have to say this.props.remove thing because I just destructured that rascal right up here in my argument list. So remove thing is just a local variable now. What do you think? Is it possible? Let's see. You know what? Fellowship of the Ring was boring. Boom. Deleted. Now it must have been removed from state, or I don't think my list would have updated, but let's confirm. Let's look at app, state, things. I've only got two. There are the two towers and the return of the king. Dun dun, we can delete. Go team. We learned some new tricks along the way. We learned a little about friendship and a little about ourselves.